Hi everyone, this is Liz from Creative Life of Liz, and I'm here planning for the week of January 5th through the 11th. This is in my B&R Paper Crafts Plan B planner. For this week, I'm using this kit from B&R Paper Crafts called Royal. This is the second time I'm using this kit. That's why you see all the gaps. But I'm excited to use it again and kind of finish it off. It's a deluxe kit on matte vinyl. Lots of stuff here. So I have 3 full boxes here, 4 more full boxes and some icons. A bunch of functional things, glittery functional things, more functional things, 1 set of headers and 2 more full boxes, just a couple of tiny boxes over here, and then a few more functional things over here. So I think I should have everything that I really need to be able to build a spread with this, except for some headers and stuff like that. Sorry for the thud. So I did pull these 2. They're definitely technically different colors, but they're very close. But these 2 shiny kinds of things for 2 sets of the headers. The third one will be the glitter headers that are already in this kit here. So that will cover the 3 sets of headers for me. And then I did also pull these 3 washies from Simply Gilded. They're all like soft gold, or at least, you know, mostly soft gold. So I plan to use these 2, but I pulled this one just in case. I don't know, whatever, we'll see what I need. And then I'm throwing things on the floor. I did pull this gold metallic Sharpie so that I can write the dates along the top. But I think that's pretty much all I need to be able to get started. So I'm gonna stick down all the headers and bits and bobs and all of that good stuff, and then I will be back so that we can do the interesting bits. Okay, here's where we are at so far. The header Sharpie is a little more dead than I expected it to be, but I do think it still looks all right. So I'm just gonna leave it as is, and I am excited for this. The 2 white header tapes look almost the same when you hold them this direction. So I had to keep track of them really carefully, but one does show much more blue and one does show much more pink based on angled. It's almost too pink, but I'm gonna leave it and hopefully it's fine. So we have here 9 full boxes. So that gives us like 1 more than we technically need. I'm probably going to use the extra one over here in the sidebar, just because I feel like that's the best option. There. So I think when we look at what we want to go together, I feel like these 2 go together for color reasons. There. And then I feel like these 2 go together. And then maybe I'll put like those 2 together. And that leaves these 3 here. So I think my plan is going to be to stick this one as my quote box. Hopefully I can get that straight, more or less. Ish. Okay. And then I'm going to put this one here in the middle. There should be space for like a tiny gap on the top and bottom. There we go. And then I think I want to put these 2 next, because I feel like they're the most directional. So it's helpful to put them someplace where I feel like I can impact the directionality the most. I like to have things going into a page whenever possible. I feel like that looks better. All right, if I could get this lined up, that would be delightful. There we go. Then I think we should do the 2 gray ones maybe. All right, so I'm gonna put one here. There we go. And then one over here. And then I think I'm going to stick these 2 in to kind of close out the daily boxes. It's the second page done so far, so I'm doing great at trying to use up as much of this kit as possible. All right, so there's where we are at so far. Moving on to the sidebar. I don't really have any, I do have this kind of stuff right here. All I have is work, cleaning, family, and spending. Oh, I have these. I forgot about these guys. Oh, I should have used them as one of the headers. Oh, well, it's fine. We're going to use them now. And I'm sure I'm going to have like little things that I want to put in places during the week as well. Okay, so sticking in a header. And then I'm going to stick in the habit tracker. This is going to track probably socials because I'm trying to get back in the habit now that we are in a new year. So that feels like probably the best thing to be tracking here. I do still have this guy left, so maybe I'll track socials like this. All right, perfect. Then I'm gonna stick in another header here. Something was not perfectly straight, so I'm just gonna try to fix it this way. And then I'm gonna stick in, do I want it to match? Maybe I'll put in this one. So this has 7, so I'm gonna put this in to be tracking my meals for the week. This usually tracks dinners. That's all I really track on here. And then I'll use another blue header. There we go. And then I have one more full box, so I think I'm going to stick that in next, like so. And that does leave a little space down here, but I don't really have anything that needs to go down here for sure. So I'm just going to leave a little gap and then stick this in. I think that looks pretty. All right. Okay. We're going to go with that for these, and that uses up all the full boxes, which is great. Next up is on the dailies. I always use these skinny guys for my work, so I'm just going to continue to do that. The 5th here is back to work day for me. A 3rd page I've just finished, so that's delightful. I'm not necessarily looking forward to it, but it's fine. But back to work. So that's the first half of the week. And then I do have my plan with me will be going up on Monday. And then on Friday, I'm going to put in my December monthly, getting back on my regular schedule for this as well. I think I'm going to use little things to mark these. Leave a bit of a gap here so that there's enough space. And then I'm going to stick one in. There we go. Tuesday, the big thing on Tuesday is I have curling. Tuesday is especially that case because I also have bar duty afterwards. So I feel like I should use an extra large box for that. What color do I want to use? Maybe I'll use this blue one. I'm gonna stick it down here at the bottom. We'll be at the club until like midnight, so nothing else is gonna happen after that. And I am gonna use the little champagne flutes, not because anybody really drinks champagne at curling, but because of bartending duties. Wednesday, I don't really have anything significant planned. We can move on to the second half of the week, where I'm gonna stick in 2 more of these guys. Is that straight? I can't really tell. Doesn't seem like it, but also the header is not really straight. Okay. None of these are perfect. I'm just gonna leave it and not try to mess with it any further. And then on Friday, I'm going to put in this guy. And I'm gonna use the alarm clock, I believe, because, you know, a calendar, I don't know, in my brain it makes sense. We're just gonna go with it. I'm not sure, I think over the weekend I might have a concert, but I'm not totally sure what we're doing. I can't keep track of which weekend is which. So my plan is to just for now, leave a little gap and stick in the weekend banner, and then I will fill in everything else when we get there. I do still have tons of icons, boxes, glittery boxes, some functional things here, and a few more functional things here. So we'll see what I end up using. But I think this is where I'm gonna leave it for the pre-planning, so stick around for just a second and you can see the finished spread. All right, here is our finished spread. I'll give it a little wiggle and a twerk. Very old school there, I know, but I think it turned out super cute. If I don't mention it, it did come from that kit from B&R Paper Crafts. I have a little bit left. I have a few icons, a few boxes, a few functional things, more functional things, a few more boxes, and then I have a few pages that I did finish, which are going to go away. So I'm gonna stick these together for now in my leftovers, but I will probably be separating them out since there's so little left at this point. But really I used the kit super effectively, and for the most part really just used the kit. The only exceptions I have are things that we talked about when we did the initial setup, the gold Sharpie up here at the top, these two sets of headers being hollow washi from Daiso, and then the two bottom washies from Simply Gilded, but everything else is from the kit. The week started off really strong, got a lot of work done, got an ARC read, that's an advanced reader copy, watched a lot of curling. The Canadian provincials were on in many provinces, so quite busy there. And then I got very sick on Friday and felt super terrible. So the weekend was mostly rest and recovery, but I'm feeling a lot better here on the following Monday. So making progress again, I suppose, and hopefully this coming week will be less eventful. But that's all I have for today. So as always, please like and subscribe below if you haven't already. I really appreciate it. It helps me out. Let me know how your week went down below, or if you don't have anything that you want to leave, just leave me a swan emoji to say hi. I would love to hear from you. And then follow me on Instagram and Blue Sky at Creative Life of Liz. You'll see in progress and finished spreads, as well as bits and pieces of my life, what I'm reading, all that good stuff. And until next time, bye.